Good day to you. Now we'll take a look at the chapter Perspectives on HRM. When we started off, we saw some earlier concepts in HRM, the traditional models. Now in this chapter we'll look at some of the other models and theories which defines HRM. Now what is hard HRM? Hard HRM as a process emphasizes the integration of human resource policies with business strategy. Now you'll have to concentrate here, which says it's a resource which should be exploited for maximum return. Hard HRM treats human resource as any other resource which should be exploited for maximum business objectives and return. So that is why it is called a hard approach. Hard model of HRM, it is business oriented, and human resource is called as human capital, and the emphasis on role and authority of management over those of employees. Business and management takes priority over the needs and motivation of employees. Pluralist viewpoint, the needs and objectives of business and the management is different from the needs and objectives of the employees. So the two different ends. The quantitative business strategic objectives, it always focuses on quantitative tangible business results. What about soft HRM? It goes soft on the approach to human resources. Now, to put it in very simple words, but let's see a definition of what soft version is. It's a process whereby employees are viewed as valued assets and as a source of competitive advantage. They are not resources for maximum return on capital, but they are a source of competitive advantage, the very reason why your organization is existing, through their commitment, adaptability and high levels of skill and performance. This defines the soft approach to HRM. Let's take a look at Michigan model, a very colorful model wherein it's essentially a part of hard HRM, wherein it states all HRM practices should be integrated to fit in with your business objectives. Let's say a selection process, your performance, your appraisal, reward and recognition and development. All these initiatives and efforts should fall in line with your business objectives, and the human resources should be fit in such a way to meet your business objectives. This in essential is your Michigan model. Now Harvard framework goes towards the soft approach. It says all those decisions which impact your human resources makes a difference, and it needs to be considered while making any strategic move or objective which is to be set. So you have stakeholders, and it also goes to define that it's a trade-off between the different interests of different stakeholders, say your customers, the management and the employees, based on mutuality and commitment. Now what are the situational factors? It goes on to explain workforce characteristics, business strategy. Now what are the stakeholders' interests, who are the stakeholders. Now each and every decision concerning your human resource takes a hit and has an impact on all the subsequent activities. Now HRM policy choices, how it influences your HR outcomes, your commitment, your motivation level, your competence and your congruence, and finally your cost effectiveness. And what are the long-term consequences? The individual well-being of employees, organizational effectiveness and societal well-being. So all the decisions touching HR area has an influence. So Harvard framework defines the soft touch to the HRM approach. Now let us take a look at theory X and theory Y, which was propounded by Douglas McGregor. It takes into account two diverse assumptions on what motivates people and how management treats these kind of people, to derive the maximum business output. So let us take a look at theory X and theory Y. Theory X fundamentally states that people have an inherent dislike for work. They need to be driven. They don't like responsibility. So this is one end of the spectrum. Theory Y suggests that work is just like play and any other activity which people love to do. So it is very easy to get output from them. So theory X, obviously management style differs, and theory Y, management style differs. So type of theory X is authoritarian, repressive style control is used to get output from the workforce because they have an inherent dislike for responsibilities. They tend to avoid all kind of tasks. They need to be driven to get any sort of results. So because they produce limited, and it's a depressed culture. So if you can see the flow, it's the management drives down the staff. Theory Y, you have more open approach. People want to develop, they are motivated. With the right kind of environment and good practices, management can derive the best results from them. So you can see the staff are at the top and you have the management driving them. Quite contrasting styles. So theory Y says liberating and developmental. The control, achievement and continuous improvement is there, achieved by empowering and giving responsibility. Theory Y, people develop based on empowerment, motivation and by giving responsibility. Your business results are achieved. Now, there are many critics of the McGregor's theory says that these are two different extremes and normal operations and normal work practices and management styles fall somewhere in between theory X and theory Y. Moving on to tight and loose HRM. Now, tight HRM is about compliance based systems and loose HRM is about commitment based systems. When you utter the word compliance, it means standards are set and procedures need to be followed. There is very little scope for any voluntary exposure or exhibition of knowledge and empowerment of people. Standards are set and people need to produce results according to that. So this is essentially about compliance based systems wherein there is very little empowerment. You have command and control, managers take complete control and it's only focused on results. Commitment based systems, how far is the individual's commitment, how does he identify himself with the organizational objectives. So there is much scope for improvement, motivation and empowerment. So these are two different types of systems which we go to define as tight HRM and loose HRM. Now, Story propounded an ideal type of HRM wherein he says an ideal HRM should have integrated policies tuned with beliefs and assumptions, integrated with strategic focus on decision making, and the line management has a significant role and there are key levers to shape employment relationship. This, according to Story, constitutes a model wherein you can have integrated policies to reflect the best practices. What are the implications for the line manager's role? Now, there are two different concepts here. Transaction leaders who do just enough, it's a trade-off, so they take what is required from the employees and they give what is required for the employees. So they have compliance, they have output and the employees get what is required for them, the awards and the benefits. They do not go beyond this, it's transactional. Transformation leaders do something beyond, they go beyond the normal work routine, they motivate their employees, they make them get engaged in different practices which develops the potential, that is towards two-way communication, which means there is potential for career planning, you can develop people, so this gives a better output from the employees. So these are two different types of leaders. Now let's take a look at the implication for the workers' role. The traditional view, we can see a pyramid wherein HR policies sit at the top, then it is transferred to the line managers and the workers are at the bottom of the pyramid. So it is shoved down from above. Look at the inverted pyramid wherein the empowerment concept, workers take the top and the line managers and then the HR policies. So an empowered workforce gives you the best results. This is a traditional view versus the empowerment concept. Now, what are the implications for HR responsibilities? Now, HR has to work in tandem and very closely with the top management who really shape the HR policies and set direction to the organization. Now, line managers play an absolutely essential role because they control the employees on a day-to-day basis. They have to bring out the best from the employees and to keep a track of all the practices. HR has to integrate and work closely with the line managers. And employees, they are the very essence of HRM practices and you need to interact and find out what is that lagging from the employee's point of view and what better can be done for development orientation.